gold ball for 3,200 meters all in. And they're off. They got away to a fair start. Imperial Ruby, who won this race with bold tactics a couple of years ago, has gone off to the lead yet again. Imperial Ruby is in front of Barak, who races in second. Then comes She's a Cracker, who's third in the blue cap, just ahead of NEBRAAS against the inside trail. The Fraud is in the cheek pieces, racing a good 4 lengths off the leader. They followed by Smiley River, who's just taken a bit of a hold. So too is African Adventure, and Black Thorn is conservatively ridden at the back of the field. And there's 1 lap left at the Citizen Gold Bowl, with Imperial Ruby in the lead and got it by just over 1 length. Barak races in second. She's a Cracker is out in third. A couple of lengths away to NEBRAAS. Just took a bit of a hold there out of the straight. That's now been joined by a Fraud, Smiley River, and African Adventure are the next two, with Black Thorn racing at the back of the field. Not much space between the field. Imperial Ruby was forcing the issue in the early stages to get to the lead, but Imperial Ruby is still in front, but just yanked back slightly out of the straight, in front by 1 length over She's a Cracker, who's improved ahead of Barak to race in third. Then we go 3 lengths away to NEBRAAS, who's in 4th position, racing just ahead of a Fraud. Another 2 lengths back to African Adventure, who's edged ahead of Smiley River, and that leaves Black Thorn given every chance to try and see out this trip at the back of the field. But now there's a dozen lengths off the leader. It's been stop-start throughout the Citizen Gold Bowl, and the leader's Imperial Ruby. Got it by just over 1 length. She's a Cracker racing away in second. Then comes Barak in third, and now they're going back to the brakes. A further length and a half away to NEBRAAS at the outside, gaining some ground at the outside of runners. We find African Adventure, and Black Thorn is no longer at the back of the field. Smiley River has now dropped out to the rear towards the corner of the track, and they've got about 1,500 meters left to run. Imperial Ruby guides them along in front by a little over 1 length. She's a Cracker at the outside of Barak, have been together from the start. Then there's been a shuffle in the order in behind as Black Thorn raced up into 4th, just ahead of stable companion NEBRAAS, half a length away to a Fraud. Then comes African Adventure, and finally Smiley River. They the last two, and still 10 lengths off the leader. Imperial Ruby literally dictated his own terms. He'd been stop-start, he's been going and stopping, but they haven't headed him. And Imperial Ruby in front a length and a half over She's a Cracker, who got onto the rail. Barak conceded that place, and Black Thorn has continuously gained ground at the outside, and that's now racing a length and a half behind the leader. Barak 4th, now 5th as a Fraud went ahead. NEBRAAS 6th place, and not blinked yet, racing 6 lengths off the leader. African Adventure's 1 from last, and a couple of lengths away to Smiley River, who feels the squeeze, and they're homeward bound in the Gold Bowl. Imperial Ruby guides them for home. Black Thorn is right there in second. She's a Cracker being asked to run, a Fraud being asked to run, and NEBRAAS up the inside, not being asked to run, but is running nicely. Then 2 lengths away to African Adventure. Barak was next, Smiley River, Black Thorn the leader, NEBRAAS on the attack. Then comes Imperial Ruby, who's tried enough, 4th place of Fraud. Then comes Barak and African Adventure. Tarry 1-2. Which way will it go? NEBRAAS up the inside has got a lot to come. Black Thorn is forced to dig really deep. They miles clear of African Adventure, who's third ahead of a Fraud. NEBRAAS and Black Thorn, little in it's 100 meters out. Black Thorn, but NEBRAAS digs even deeper. NEBRAAS gets to the lead close home. NEBRAAS wins. Black Thorn ran second. African Adventure was third. Then came a Fraud.